Where's my water bottle? Am I this one? Yeah. Okay, let's see who shows up for this. Everyone should. No particular reason why you wouldn't. Let's see what happens. Pulley. There we go. Let's see what we've got. So we've got 3 people on. As always, put your name in the chat. So it's exercise. New board. Feels good. That's 10F. Page. Good morning, Reba. Hope you're well. What was a page number? 174. So that's what we're looking at today in the Applied 1 book. So if you get yourself, while you're waiting for everyone else to show up, so that's the Stats and Mech book. All right? Applied 1 is the Stats and Mech book, first year. So while we're waiting for everyone else to show up, if you get yourself onto there, then we'll have a little chat. Seems we're down to 1 person. Interesting. There's 3 a minute, right? Has connection gone down? Doesn't matter. Pop your name in the chat once you're here. I'm going to do register. See who's here and who's not. So we'd like to reconnect, so thank you. So we've got 4 people. We've got Eman, got Rebut, we've got 2 other people that haven't been named yet, 3 people. Pop your names in the chat. I'm doing the register now. As for this morning, the first period is going to be the pulleys we didn't do on Thursday. The second period is going to be more differential equations. All right. And if people want a Kahoot, can they just say so? Because I can do them. The thing is with a Kahoot, what I need to do is turn this video stream off. I'm not going to turn this one off. I'll do it in the second period. And then stream from my screen. And you need to have 2 screens as well. You also need to have 2 screens as well. So it's a bit awkward, but it can be done. All right. So yeah, let me know what people think about that. We've got 3 people in the chat box. We've got 1 person who isn't in the chat box, weirdly enough. So pop your name in the chat box. I'm doing the register now as it stands. I'll give people about another minute or 2 and then start marking people late. If you look on the screen now, 10F page 175 in the Stats and Mechanics textbook is the one we're going to be covering, is the one I'm going to be talking about anyway. So you can get yourself a bit of a head start by just opening up that book and seeing what it is. It is pulleys, as you can imagine from the heading. Not sure where everyone else is. They've got till the register loads up. Up to 5. 5 out of 8's not too bad. Got Kelvin, there we go. Still missing 1 person who's in this, but not putting their name down. And obviously I can't mark you in on the register at least. Well, I don't mark you till the end, so I'll make sure that people hang around till the end, but I think it's good to have an interim one. We'll start in about a minute or so. So we're missing Kai-san, we're missing Zareth, we're missing, we're also missing Farhan, and we're missing Shein, which is amazing. Shein is always on time. So, got 2 more, about a minute or 2. So pop your name in the chat. If you are Farhan good, Shein good, so we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 6 people on. That's brilliant. So while we're just waiting for the last couple of people to show up, go to exercise 10F in page 172. Just have that open for yourself because you're going to need it. Right? That's what we're going to be covering. All right? And I'm going to start in about 30 seconds now. Pop your name in the live chat. I'm just getting the register up now. Remember, all Dr. Frost work is due on Thursday this week. So there's Dr. Frost work that's due on Thursday, and of course I'll read off the ones who've done it and the ones who haven't. But not yet. Do it on Thursday. Right. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to start. First of all, before we go any further, I'm glad to say I was happy with the majority of you in terms of the work you submitted last lesson. I mean, it was a bit of a long video. I appreciate that. But people were legitimately trying. You're not there yet, but you're getting there. It's a good start on that. Let me just remind you, because it was good isn't perfect, what the expectations are, right? So every lesson, in your own private chat, you submit your work. So you can't see that all that well. I'll move it onto the side. There's nothing I like these boards, but you submit your work. Now you generally will have the opportunity to mark it, right? What do I mean by mark it? Because you have the answers. So like, for example, we're doing 10F on Applied 1. You have that textbook, you have the answers. So really it should be marked, okay? A few of you fell down on that, and that's fine because like we're just getting a hang of it. Because at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is when I'm doing your predicted grades, I want to be able to read through the entire thing and go da 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 da, and you should be ready to highlight any problems you've got. So highlight any problems in terms of the content. Like an example here would be if you're still struggling with differential equations from last lesson. If you know what you're struggling with, it's going to be super helpful for next lesson, which is at 10:45, because guess what? That's based on last lesson's work. So it's going to be super, super helpful if you can say, well, sorry, I still don't get how you separate variables, for example. Yeah. So that's the perfect response I hope to see from every single one of you. Don't stress if you didn't hear it last time. That's fine. We're still working out the process of this. So at the end of every lesson, there should be photographs. If you've got the technology to do it, there's photographs of your work that's marked. Suppose for whatever reason your Wi-Fi is down or whatever, you run out of data or whatever. Send what you can when you can. Obviously, ideally, it should be done the same day. So let's put that in the same day. Yeah. But if something is better than nothing, because remember, that's again your evidence. All right. If you really have no internet, as in like for weeks, as in like, I don't know, I can't imagine why you would, because everyone's been really good at coming to lessons. Keep all your stuff in a file, all right? Because that'll be your record. But as I said, the situation as it is, not like fiction, is that most people sent all their stuff. And I was pretty happy with that. I'm just saying this is the standard I'm looking for now. You submit it, it should be marked. You're highlighting any problems. So like next lesson, we'll talk about differential equations. You can go to me, okay, I'm struggling with this. And it should be done ideally on the same day. I'm going to say ideally it should be 99 times out of 100 done on the same day. All right? It's not something that should be aspirational. That it's done on the same day and people start sending me work 3 days later. That's not what I mean. It should be like 99% of the time it works. 1% of the time something, family matter happened or there was a power cut, then yeah, fair shout. Okay, cool. That's enough talking from me. So as I said, it's exercise 10F, page 175 in Applied 1. Sort of discussed pulleys before, but I'm going to recap the whole idea. Let's rub this all off. So if you can find, and when I say Applied 1, I always mean Stats and Mechanics 1. So you take a look at that, and we'll have a look at the examples there. And that's what I'll be covering today. All right? That's what I'll be covering today. So I'm just opening up here as well. And the first example that's given is, let's have a look. There's a fair few examples, isn't there? I'm going to start with example 13, and I'll start walking you through it. That example can be found on page 173 in the book for the examples. So the exercise on page 175 in the pure and stats, sorry, not the pure and stats, the applied, which is mechanics and stats, year 1. The questions are on 175. So if you already know this, feel free to just pop that in the chat and then have at the questions. But for the rest of you guys that obviously will need to be taught this, we're going to now be looking at page 173, the examples that we found there, and the example we're going to be looking for is example 13. So I'm putting in brackets there is the example you're looking at, example 13. All right. So I'm going to give you about a minute to be able to pull that up. All right. If anyone hasn't got the textbook, you emailed it on Thursday because we were going to do this. You're doing the question now, that's fine. By all means, knock yourself out. Now, if it turns out that you find a question you can't do, if I'm still live streaming, yeah, Reebok's saying, if I'm still live streaming, then obviously you can ask me then, or you can ask me at 10:45 as well. All right, you can ask me at 10:45 as well. So a couple of you guys seem like you're ready to do it. That's great. Don't waste any further time. You might find them harder than you think. That's all I'm saying. Not that they're particularly difficult, but you know, that's the way such things go. Okay, let's begin. So it's exercise 10F 175 if you're ready to move on. Example 13 if you need to see this done. And that's a fair shout. I think you probably, most of you, if you don't remember how these work, will need to see this done. All right. So we've got Sheehan, Morella have decided to go off, and that's fine. That's great. Okay, cool. First thing to do with any type of question is to try and understand what's going on. So let's read it together. Example 13. Particles P and Q of masses 2 meters and 3 meters. So not 2 meters. What was that? 2 meters. Short like that. 2m and 3m, where m is something we don't know, are attached to the ends of a light and extensible string. Okay. String passes over a small, smooth, fixed pulley, and a mass is hanging with the string taut. The system is released from rest. Okay, so here we go. Here's a picture of it. So we've got this. That's your pulley. I always think of it like it's like a little girl, you know, with pigtails. There we go. So what do we got? So that's what we got, yeah? I mean, I'm going to move the camera so that's slightly more helpful. Right, cool. First things first, let's analyze the question and see what it tells us. It tells us that the mass of this, each one is 2m and 3m respectively. So call this guy P, call that guy Q. That's 2m, that's 3m. All right? So that's 2m and that's 3m. All right? If you look at that, that means in terms of gravity, gravity will be acting down with 2mg force, and this will be acting down with 3mg force. All right? Why? Because weight is mass times gravity. Yeah? And if you didn't know that, now you do. Okay? So your weight force, where is there a smiley face? Because I want one. So yes, a weight, if you didn't know this already, I'll put that on somewhere slightly nicer. Weight equals mass times gravity. So obviously, that's why they say you'd have the same mass on the moon, but you'd weigh less, because obviously gravity on the moon is 1/6 of gravity on the Earth, roughly. Okay? What other forces? Actually, let's continue the question before we talk about any other forces. It says light and inextensible. Oh, sorry. So when it says light and inextensible, that means tension is constant. Yeah, so tension is constant. All right. So what do you mean when you say something tension is constant? It means it's the same tension all the way across the string. How do I know that? Because the string is light and inextensible. So if they ask you what assumption you've made, and they ask you for something else about that, the fact that it says it's light and inextensible means that you can assume that throughout this question, the tension is the same. All right, the tension is the same. All right, so whatever T is the same. Here, 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 here. Right. So where is the tension? So if you think about it, this is trying to fall down, and the string's pulling it back up. So the tension is going to be here, and the tension is going to be there, and they're both the same tension. All right, which is super handy for other stuff. Okay, and then you've got smooth. What does smooth mean? No friction. All right. And the assumption you're making, if it's smooth, there's no friction. That means there's no forces acting on this guy. Yeah? It just slides across without stressing at all. So that's your diagram from your question. The system is released from rest. That means no initial velocity. Right? No initial velocity. Okay. So that's what you take from the question. And those people that are hopefully doing well on this have taken notes, right? Because that's how you 9.8 for gravity, absolutely. I should really put that as part of the notes. So G equals 9.8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a minute to write those out as notes. If you're someone that this is fresh for, or someone that, if I find this quite difficult, or you find this quite difficult, those are the notes you need to take. So you know that if you're doing a question, that's how you unpick a question. All right? I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to copy that down. I'm going to find out what the hell someone sent me as a message. In a minute. I don't think I've typed it now. Can you go to question 5? Yes, after this, I'll go through question 5. There's no particular difficulty there. Okay. Okay, let's continue the question now. Right? How do we deal with questions like 13 part A? Write an equation of motion P and Q. Okay, cool. Here's how you do it. I always do it this way around, where I'll look for the one with the biggest weight, which is 3m, obviously, right? And I'll make that in this form, 3mg minus t equals 3ma. Now, what the hell, where on earth, and where's that all come from? It's come from this formula. Force equals mass times acceleration. All right? So let's go through that. Let's unpick that. What forces are acting? As this is the formula for Q. All right? This is the formula for Q. So how have I got that? What forces are acting on Q? 3mg going down, that's the weight, tension pulling it up. All right? 3mg going down, tension going up. So that's your F, your force. What's your mass? 3m. What's your acceleration? Don't know. Yeah? So I'm just calling it A. All right? Similarly, I can write another equation for P. But notice what I'm going to do here. I'm putting the bigger force, which is the tension, and making the other guy negative. So T minus 2mg equals 2ma. And that's your formula for Q and P. All right? So I hope that makes sense to you. Can you pop in the chat if that makes sense to you and if it doesn't? All right? So what I'm doing is to start this question, to write equations of motion. The equation of motion I'm using is force equals mass times acceleration. It is the resultant force on Q and P, but I always write it so the resultant force stays positive. Yeah? So I don't have to faff around too much with minus signs. It works out really nicely when I say to you that Q minus P literally just goes, well, the T's will cancel, and you end up with 3 minus minus 2, so it's 5mg equals ma. Yeah? So if you subtract those two formulas, the T's, so you'd add those two formulas, my apologies, that's my mistake. Let me clear that up. People are buzzing at me, leave me alone. You add the formulas, my mistake. mg, which just be 1mg, equals 5ma. If you're adding them, the T's will cancel. All right? And if that's true, you can go that m's will cancel, so g would be 5a. So g over 5 is a. So just simultaneous equations. All right? Let me make that 5. T, it's a bit easier to see. What I need is a board spray. I already own one. I can't really buy one either. Take it, so g over 5, say. Now, if you're stuck on any of that, pop that in a live chat. My phone is popping off with the Microsoft Teams stuff, so I'm just going to go and check all what the hell people are sending to me. Back in just a moment. Where's my water? So you need to speak up in the live chat if you don't understand. If you do understand, just go, I've got this, let's move on. All right? But all I know that I do need a response from you guys. Can't move on till we get one. Right, so I've got email stuff here, that's fine. If that all works. Right, so let's see what we've got. So I'm waiting on people to come back with feedback on whether they understand up to here or not. Yes or no? So we've got 6 people watching and no one's saying anything, which is a bit weird. And while I need just a quick kind of idea. Do you understand? Yes or no? Cool. Right, cool. Let's do the register. Tell you what, it's a good time to do the register as well. So if you're here, say your name. So Reebok, yeah, but you already knew it. It's great that you're still here, but you're not really the target audience for this one. It's the guys that hung around that said that, well, they didn't say anything, but whether they understand or not. I'm interested to know who just logs on and then puts their phone away, or is logged on a tablet that is now playing FIFA, and is going to do their work in their own time. Do you see what I mean? So let's see who's responding. If you don't respond in the next 2 minutes, I'm marking you absent. How's this? Let's see. This really will test who's listening. Because it's quite easy, especially for a YouTube channel, to just go, I'm going to open up the YouTube channel. I'll type in that I'm here. I mean, no, you play games. I'm good at playing games, my dude. So I know you're here. I know Reebok's here. I know your man's logged off, so that's fine because he's just sent me the work. Mirella moved off as well. That's fine. She's okay. She's doing the work. That's 4. Where the hell's everyone else? How come people are not responding to the worked solution? It's a bit of a shifty one. I mean, yeah, it's like a curse, isn't it? Yeah, so you guys are fine. It's the ones that log on quickly. You know what I'm saying? They'll log on for a minute and then just go, yeah, so Farhan, it's good to see you again. Do you understand? Yes or no? Because, you got to realize I ain't playing games here. You do this lesson as a proper lesson, or you can clear off. And I mean clear off out of further mouse as well, right? I can mess about. My dude, if I'm taking the time, you work. That's it. You will have no nonsense here. All right. Good. Cool. In that case, let's move on. Of course. Now, that's the A done. We found the acceleration as well. Once we've got the acceleration, finding the mass is relatively simple. All right. So find the tension, is relatively simple because we can just substitute back in to the formula. But we've got to be a bit careful about that. So let's rub this out. So we know that A is G over 5. Yeah, that was right. Yep. So let's now move on to part C. So done A, done B. Now we're going to move on to part C. I'm going to keep the diagram, keep this. I'm going to lose all the top bit because you don't need the words anymore. So it doesn't matter which equation you use for this, particularly. You now know that 3m, we'll just check in a minute whether you can see that. 3mg minus t equals 3mg over 5. Not it matters whether divide by 5 goes either, that's fine, it's no problem. Yeah, you can just see that. So this is me now answering C. So I did A here, so that's A, that's B, that's C, all right? Well, I can easily cancel. Well, it's probably easy if I just write this. 3mg over 5. So that would become 3mg minus 3mg over 5. So would that just quite easily just go 14mg over 5 equals t? So I'm basically just saying that's 15mg over 5 minus 3. Well, hold on. If that's 15, that'll be 12, wouldn't it? 12 over 5. 12mg over 5 is t. Okay? So hopefully that wasn't too stressful for anyone. Let's check that is right. Yeah, beautiful. So that's that. That's tension. Finding force exerted on the pulley by the string. Now, this is probably the first challenging one. Yeah. But you just got to be thinking about it. Well, okay, look, if this is you're pulling up this way, the tension will be dragging down on this guy. So T there. So the force on the pulley would just be 2 times T. So that will be 24 mg over 5 equals T. That's not particularly difficult either. Now, part E is just a simple Suvat equation. So here's the answer for D. Yeah. Because you know what the acceleration is? It's just G over 5. Remember, G is 9.8, so you can just do Suvat on that. And how do you use the pulley is smoothing your calculations. There is no friction, yeah? So there's no force acting on the string other than the tension and the reaction force. So like, there's nothing stopping the string moving in a sort of kind of, it's not quite horizontal, but you know what I mean by that, right? Okay, so where are we at with this? All right, where are we at with this? We are looking at the exercises, and I think some of you guys will legit struggle with this. So you need to kind of come back at me at 10:45 and go, well, you know, so I did get this. The exercises on page, what page number is it? 175 onwards. You've got about an hour to do them. All right. You need to come back and say, oh, sorry, I couldn't do this, this, this. Iman's already said he wants to see 5, so I'm going to do 5 now. And it is slightly different, to be fair. So I'm going to do that with him now. So if you're still struggling, you might want to watch how I do 5. That's a fair shout. And then we're going to go through this at probably again at 10:45. All right. So you've only got 4 questions if I've done 5 for you. So that's not too bad. Right, so this is vanishing now. Remember, you can always look back at these videos. It's differential equations in the second hour and a half. It's like, this is going to be a rough day in terms of mathematics. You're going to have to work today. I haven't seen Kai-san, haven't seen Zara. I know you guys are fasting. I get that. I do sympathize to some extent, but you're not meant to use it as an excuse. That's the truth of the matter, isn't it? Let's be real. And besides, it's not something I can really change the timing of. Anyways, it's neither here nor there. Right, okay. So I am now going to do the register, and then I'm going to do 5, and then I'm going to stop this video. So if you've got any further questions, put them in the live chat. Other than that, you're literally just going to watch question 5 getting done. So Eman, we're definitely sure is here. Kai-san is definitely not here. It's not responding to anything. Mirella is here. Rebut was here. Kelvin is here. Zarif is not. Farhan is. Put Farhan in there. And Xiying is. I haven't heard from Xiying for a little while though. Again, we will see. I can always change it if I don't believe it. Right, so that's getting done. Right, question 5. Question, like, okay, I'm sure you've got, because you've done a few of these now, I'm sure you've got the idea that the very, very first thing to do with any of these damn things is draw a picture, all right? And if you haven't, that's me telling you, right? So draw a picture always. And then the next thing to do is just, like, read off your question, all right? So you're told that P, always good to label, P, can you see that? Let's have a look at the video. Can you see that? Yeah, just about. P is 2.5, great. So that means you've got 2.5 G here. You don't need to worry about friction on the table because it's a smooth table, thankfully, because otherwise all kinds of stuff happens there. Yes, so that's 2.5 G. You don't need to have the 2.5. They can say that's 2.5 G. There'll be a normal reaction force of 2.5 G as well, but it doesn't matter. It's not doing anything because it's a smooth table, so no stress. This is getting dragged that way, so tension that way. Tension that way. Because it's a light inextensible, you don't need to, mess around with any of that. That's fine. 1.5 G down. Okay. Anything else? Oh, there is a frictional force. You scumbag. I apologize for you. I didn't read through the question properly. See, there's a frictional force there. I mean, when you get to second year, you'll be able to work out exactly what that is. Here, we're just going to treat it as K and get on with our lives. All right. Are we given any kind of accelerations? We know there is an acceleration. We don't know what it is. Okay, that's fine. What else are we told? After release, it descends a distance with 0.8 pi to 0.57. Okay, cool. That seems sensible to me. All right, fine. That's no problem. Now, we've got a little bit of an issue in that when we set up our equations, the following is going to happen. All right, the following is going to happen. you have got on, what was it, letters of P and Q. So Q is quite a nice, friendly one. You go, okay, fine, 1.5 G minus T equals 1.5 A, and that seems fair enough. We know how to deal with that, so well and good, right? But you've got another unknown when you look at P, which is K. So you've got T plus K equals 2.5 A. Yeah? And then you see you've got three unknowns in there, T, K, and A. So a straight simultaneous equation is not going to help us quite like that, if that makes sense. Yeah? So it's a bit more awkward than the generic sort of, you can do this question. It's pretty simple. Let's see if anyone's saying anything on the chat. Can you please move the camera to left? Yes. There we go. I hope that's better. Thank you for saying that. So, like when I'm working, I'm looking at the textbook, and it takes me sometimes a little while to read the chat. What I should do is get another screen. There's no reason why I couldn't do that. Right. Okay. Cool. So we were understanding why there is a little bit of a difference here between what you normally do, which is set up two equations and just go simultaneous array, or so we're going to do something else. We're going to use SUVAT. All right. So we use SUVAT. I need to check on the screen whether you can see this. You can go SUVAT. So SUVAT on what? Q. All right. SUVAT on Q vertically. All right. We are told it descends a distance of 0.8 in 0.75 seconds. So we know it goes 0.8 there. Starts at rest, doesn't it? So 0. Final velocity, we don't know. Acceleration, we don't know, but we want to find out. But we know T is 0.75. All right. So that's going to be a SUAT equation. Yeah. S equals UT plus a half AT squared. Can I trouble you to do that one for me? I know what the answer is. So if you could work that one out for me. So it's S equals UT, move the camera just teensy bit, plus a half AT squared. Yeah? So that's your task now. You need to find out what the acceleration is. And once you find out the acceleration, the rest of this question is incredibly easy, because you can sub the acceleration into here to find the tension. You can find the tension. You can find, once you've got the tension, you can put it in here to find K, because the tension is constant throughout. All right? So I hope that now makes sense to you. The reason why E-Man typed in that Q descends, I know that. It wasn't easy to diagram that, so I didn't write it in. But it is, you're right to say that is super important in the question. All right? So I'm asking you to do solve that equation for me. S equals UT plus a half AT squared. S is 0.8. U is 0 because it starts from rest. Acceleration is the unknown. Sorry, excuse me. Acceleration is the unknown. That's the thing we're looking for. And time is 0.75. All right? So tell me what you think S is. I have an answer already. 2.8, yep. Seems reasonable to me. Let me just check what I got. Yeah, 2.8, 2.84, that's fine. So what they've gone in the solutions is 2.84, so we go with 2.84. Okay, from here, again, it gets incredibly simple. Let's have a look at what else the question says. Yep, you've got it right. I'm happy with that. That's a good job. Good job. That's decent, right? Now you need to find the tension, yeah? How would you find the tension? Just put 2.84. So that should be A there. Put that A is 2.84 and put it back into the first equation. So you've now got 1.5 G minus T equals 1.5 times 2.84 and solve for T. All right? And that should give you what you're looking for. And then once you find out what T is, you can put T into this equation. So again, we were told in the question that T equals 10.4. Yeah? So you can go, okay, 10.4 plus K equals 2.5 times 2.84, and then solve for K. So you see it's incredibly easy. And then state how you use the string is inextensible. That means the tension is the same throughout. It's constant throughout. All right? So they always ask that little question, 1 mark. How do you know that? So what has it told you that either it's smooth, which means no friction, or string is inextensible means the tension is constant throughout. You just need to know those things as kind of catchphrases. All right? So I hope that makes sense to you. It was not a hard question once you get past the first bit. Yep, I fixed that. Good spot, Farhan. 10F. You're doing 10F. In entirety. I'm going to close this video in about 4 minutes, so you'll be able to go back and watch. You've been late. Yeah, let me put you in the register. I mean, it's not hard to set an alarm at this point, my dude. I know you're fasting. I get that. I do sympathize to some extent. But, like, I can't change when the lesson is. The lesson will be at this time. So you're just going to have to get around it. It's a pain for me. I have to teach 4 lessons today. It's awkward. I'll teach nothing tomorrow. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, case to the point that you can easily solve this. I'm not going to kind of stress too much about the sums once you got. I can check for you if you know. Yeah, 15 trades, right? Yeah. I mean, as I said, it was the first bit using SUVAT when you're not used to using SUVAT in these questions. That's the only thing that's really difficult here. Other than that, it's easy. Really. So I'm going to hang around here for another, say, 3-4 minutes. I'm not expecting anyone to kind of like, you know, talk back. Just going to kind of like see if anyone needs any help. So you guys need to get cracking on that. It's only 5 questions, and I've done one of them for you. So it's only 4 questions, but they're, you know, they're hard, aren't they? They're difficult. At 10:45 is your second lesson. That's on differential equations. So if you manage to finish this early, I would go back and recap your differential equations knowledge from last time. Okay? Because that, again, you know, it's difficult. All right? Just do 10F, yeah? And I've already done 5 for you, as you can see over there. 5 is done for you. So you don't need to, it's not a huge amount of work, but they are hard questions. You may want to watch the video again. Well, not again in your case, but just watch the video. Because the first question was laid out in detail for you. Not basically an example was laid out in detail for you. So you've got about another 2-3 minutes to ask the help if you need it. I presume Kai-san's sleeping as well. Would not surprise me. Bloody raining as well. What kind of day is it today? Rita Bella. Yeah, so I'm done here. You don't need to hang around anymore. If nobody pops up with a question in about a minute or 2, I'm just going to shut this one down. We'll be back at 10:45 to talk to you about differential equations. All right? Zarif, watch the video if you need any help. I wonder if Sheehan is still alive. I haven't heard from her in 38 minutes. I don't think anyone's got to talk or anything. Bye.